I was just talking about YA books, and now I'm here. I will never get off my soapbox. Hello, I'm Jackson Bird, and today I am doing the representation book tag. I was tagged by Iris Moon, who started the tag, and whose channel you should totally subscribe to and check out. They make really great queer and bookish videos, so if you are here watching this, you will probably love their channel too. Now this tag is all about seeing yourself represented in media and in books, which is so important and is like my #1 issue, because if we don't see ourselves represented, how do we know that we exist and we have potential and there are other people like us? And how do we learn about other people who are different than us and get to empathize with them and understand them on a complex level? These are all things we need more of in the world. The way we get more is by having responsible representation in lots of media. So on with the tag. #1, introduce yourself. What are your identities? I'm Jack. I am a queer, bisexual, trans man. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm also a white, able-bodied American. I am 27. I am a Texan New Yorker. And those are all the identities I care to share on the internet. 2, what was the first book or media in which you felt represented? So, as a trans kid growing up and not really knowing that trans people existed, I was given a lot of girl books to read, and I didn't really identify with most of the girl characters in those books. However, I do remember in like 1st or 2nd grade, I found the Amber Brown series by Paula Danziger, and I loved those books because Amber Brown was more of a tomboy and her best friend was a boy, and I was just able to relate to her more so than any other character I'd been exposed to in books yet, or in anything at that point. A little bit later on in my life, the first gay book that I had the courage to check out from the public library was Geography Club by Brent Hartinger, which was a YA book about kids who start an LGBTQ+ club at their high school, but they call it the Geography Club so that people don't know what it really is. I remember being so paranoid that people would like catch me reading this book, like they would somehow figure out what the book was about and they would make fun of me or send me to a gay conversion camp. I don't know, it was Texas, I was scared. But fortunately, the title of the book served the same purpose as the name of the club in the book, so like, no one ever suspected anything. It was a great decoy. Also, I just remembered, okay, there was a message board for that book, like a fan message board by the publisher or something that I used to actually post on because I loved that book so much. And the author would post on it a lot too, and I had like a username and an avatar that were just like totally ambiguous, like they weren't my name or a picture of me or anything, because this was 2003. We didn't do that yet. But based on like whatever I had said at various points, the author mistook me for a boy. And it was like one of the best moments of my middle school life. Oh, it was so validating. A little confusing, but I was so excited by that. As far as trans media representation, I mean, I've yet to really feel represented by or like resonate with any fictional trans characters, especially in books, but even in like movies and TV shows. I mean, there's not like a big pool of trans guys in fictional media to pull from anyways. And I do get excited and like feel a little bit represented when I see trans guy characters in things like The OA or Transparent, but they don't usually resonate as strongly for me as like documentaries or memoirs do. Probably because oftentimes for the fictional ones, like cisgender people are controlling the narrative, whereas for memoirs, it's the trans person writing it themselves, so they really get into those small details that really make a difference. #3, is there a character in your favorite book or genre that represents you? I mean, I think my favorite book genre is probably transgender nonfiction, so yes, it represents me, but none of my other favorite genres do. I like YA novels and mysteries and historical fiction. There's not too many queer trans guys in those. I mean, especially the last two. Probably the only place that you're gonna find trans guys is in YA novels, but they tend to be straight and they're in high school, which was not my experience. More on that in a minute. #4, what was the worst representation of one of your identities that you've ever read? Okay, so I haven't read it, but I've heard about it a lot and like researched it a bit, and I do want to read it so I can like fully make my own opinion of it, but also sounds like it's gonna be painful to read. It is a book called Adam by Ariel Schrag, and it is a YA novel about a cisgender teenage boy who goes to stay with his lesbian sister and ends up crushing on this lesbian cisgender girl. And because she's obviously not interested in boys, he pretends to be a trans boy so she'll like her. What? Like, no! There are so many things wrong with that. One, a lesbian should not be interested in a trans boy because he is a boy. He is a guy. Yes, there are complexities where sometimes that happens and everyone's like identity is a label unto themselves, but like, let's stop the narrative that trans guys are just butch dykes, because no. And also, what a douchebag is this cis guy to pretend to be trans in order to get into the pants of a girl who is not into him. Oh, I would love to give this book the benefit of the doubt, but everything that I have read does not like make this a teaching moment or give it any redeeming qualities. It's just so problematic. Oh, why did it get published? I know why it got published, because there's not enough trans people in publishing and editing who can shut this kind of thing down, and that is a problem. We gotta teach more people, we gotta get in these positions of power, we gotta break down the systems that aren't letting us get into these positions of power. Oh, there's a lot of work to do. Why? I was just talking about YA books, and now I'm here. I will never get off my soapbox, which is probably good, because I'm short. Number 5, what is the best representation of your identities that you've ever read? So I love Elliot Deline's writing. I especially enjoyed this collection of essays, No Poster Boy. He's a queer trans guy who auditioned as a young adult, like after high school. A lot of trans representation in books tends to be like people who always knew they were trans and who are straight and who transitioned in high school, and none of that applies to me. So I love reading accounts from people for whom that also doesn't apply, and who talk authentically about confusion and stereotypes and paradoxes and dysphoria and social pressures from within the community and all of that complex and messy stuff that isn't talked about as much or nearly as marketable. And in that category, I would also recommend Just Add Hormones. Oh, I've got some notes in here. What is this note? Oh no, it's a page falling out. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, page 155. I don't want to lose you. Just Add Hormones by Matt Cayley, or any reading by Matt Cayley. And also Man Alive by Thomas Page McBee. Number 6. Do you think your identities are misrepresented or underrepresented in the books that you read? In the books that I very purposefully and intentionally push myself to read, I'm represented okay. In books at large, I feel underrepresented. Absolutely. Trans people make up a growing but still minuscule subsection of literature, and books about trans people written by trans people even less. And then trans books breaching difficult non-assimilationist type of topics even less. So underrepresented. I feel underrepresented. That said, I do have other identities. Please refer to the beginning of the video. But being trans is a part of my identity that I crave representation of the most, because growing up, it wasn't there at all. And because it is so complex and all-encompassing and never-ending, and so it's nice and comforting to get to read other people's accounts. And you know, as I've gone through this tag, I think what I've realized is that the best representations of trans people that I've seen, the most realistic, the most responsible, the most relatable, are the ones created by trans people. Whether that be memoirs or essays or fictional books or YouTube videos. So, if we want to see ourselves represented better, we gotta do it ourselves. We gotta become writers and publishers and filmmakers and podcasters. I promise my podcast is coming back. We've got to take hold of our own narratives and seize the means of production to get them out there. So let's all go out there and start creating, and also purchasing and amplifying the things created by trans people. All right, so as for who I am tagging, they're not all booktubers, but they are people who sometimes talk bookish things and from whom I'd be really curious to hear the representation side of things, even if it's more media and less books. Number 1, Asante the artist, who is on the ace spectrum, and I'd love to hear more about how an ace person feels underrepresented, as I presume will be the answer. Next up, Ricky Pointer, who is deaf and an activist in the deaf and hard of hearing communities. She's always talking about representation, so Ricky, do this tag. I think it would be awesome. Third, Rowan Ellis, who is a queer woman who I think will have some very intellectually stimulating responses to these questions. And fourth, Amanda Finlaw of Fandom Matters, who always has some good fan activist-y social justice hot takes on her channel. And you know what, to throw out some more booktuberish people in there, I'm also gonna tag Lucy Moon and Rosiana Rojas. They might not do this tag, but I think it would be cool if they did, so I'm gonna tag them anyways. If you're interested in checking out more transgender books, you can watch my Ultimate Trans Book Recs video, and also peruse my always updating Trans Book Recs shelf on Goodreads. In the comments, I want to read your answers to these questions, or even better, make a video response to this tag and leave the link to it down in the comments. It might get flagged as spam at first if you have a link in it, but I'll try to keep an eye on them and clear them through the filter. And if you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with people who you think will also enjoy it. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new video. Consider supporting me on Patreon at patreon.com/jacksonbird. Get some of my merch at at dftba.com/jacksonbird. And you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, all the places at Jack is Not a Bird. All right, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.